Alright, hi guys, and welcome back to another Pro League of Legends commentary. I'm going to be casting this game between SK and M5 at the semifinals of IEM Kiev in this particular cast. Actually, I should explain what's up. So, IEM Kiev was played this weekend, and I have today off. So what I'm going to be doing is a marathon casting run. I have my liters of coffee in front of me, and I am prepared. We're going to be seeing the semifinals and final sets from Kiev, and what I'm going to do is cast them all today and then release them one per day for the next 4, 5, or 6 days, depending on how many games there are in each set. The winner of this match between SK and M5 is going to go on to play TSM in the finals. I won't be casting TSM semifinal game. On M5 we have Alexkh QQ, Genja, Diamondez, and Darian, and on SK we have Nyph or Nyph. I'm actually not sure how you pronounce that, but I'm going to be saying Nyph because it sounds cooler. Boss Panda, also known as Candy Panda, SleazyWeazy, Kennen, and Ocelote. Both teams have fought their way up through the ranks to get here for Kiev, and we're going to be seeing who takes home the semifinal match. I don't know who wins, but this match was billed as the match that broke League of Legends. Apparently M5 does something crazy in this game. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. Already I'm seeing some crazy picks from Shyvana and Mordekaiser. That's a little bit nuts to me. Haven't seen Mordekaiser in a long time, and it's my opinion, although I have not been following the rest of Kiev, that Shyvana is kind of a terrible champion. I feel like she can't do much. I assume they're going to be running her in the jungle, in which case... Oh, yeah. No, actually, I don't know. This is a really interesting lineup. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. We're seeing no sort of standard ranged AD carry unless they're doing an AD Kennen. Whereas on SK we're seeing a Sivir Soraka lane with a very powerful lane, Rammus in the jungle, Irelia top, and I assume they're picking their AP carry last for a very traditional lineup. Against this team... One thing to note is that this team does not actually have that many stuns or interrupts, so they could go for something a little wacky, like a Malzahar or Katarina. Always risky against a Kennen because he stuns everybody. What I have in front of me, of course, is the official broadcast, the stream with the Riot commentators, as you can see their lovely faces. Any of you who have watched Korean StarCraft will be used to this. We don't have the replays, we just have the stream. So think of this as me watching like a GSL match. And yeah, okay, so we're getting an Anivia, which is an interesting pick, but fits right in there. I actually really like the Anivia pick. I feel like Shyvana, who is jungling, can't do shit against Anivia. It looks like they're going to be running... I'm actually not sure, that's a lot of swaps. But it looks like we have Alexkh on Mordekaiser, QQ on Sona, Genja on Kennen, Diamondez on Shyvana, and Darian on Gangplank, and we have Nyph on Soraka, Candy Panda on Sivir, SleazyWeazy on Rammus, Kennen on Irelia, and Ocelote on Anivia. So SK really likes that Irelia, even though they don't have Wicked on the team anymore, to be the bossest Irelia of all time. And they're still going to be running a top lane Irelia. Interestingly, with Ignite, so planning to win that lane pretty hard. I still don't know what the lanes are going to be like for M5. I assume they're going to be doing some sort of level 1 team fight or counter jungling play, because if they don't, then Shyvana is going to be totally useless. Shyvana can't gank, and she can't carry. So, the only thing that she's good for is sort of early game team fights, I guess. I actually think that champion's awful, and you can do better things with other champions, but maybe I assume M5 knows something that I don't. I'm going to skip ahead because we don't really need to see pictures of everyone's faces, although you can see SK lining up, M5 lining up, getting ready to make their move. And interestingly, SK with a lot of cross chatter and M5 with a lot of concentration. Alright, so let's pull ahead and see when the game starts. I don't know what M5 is going to be doing here, so I don't want to call who I think has an advantage yet, at least until we get a little further into the game. My apologies. Here we go with the loading screen. Looks like everyone's loaded up, and they'll be starting momentarily. I do like that Shyvana skin. Alright. So it looks like the teams are setting up pretty standardly. I don't see any important wards. The resolution on this stream is unfortunately a little lower than I'd like it. I apologize for that. So it's going to be difficult for me to see wards on the minimap and stuff like that. Just so everyone bears in mind, this mouse cursor that's doing circles in the middle of the screen, that's what I'm pointing at. That mouse cursor is what the casters are pointing at. Ignore it. They don't know what they're talking about. It is going to be a little bit difficult for me to cast with someone else manning the camera, but we'll see how this goes. So it looks like it's going to be Kennen top, Mordekaiser mid, and a... where's that? No, we'll see. So M5 is doing the pull, getting Shyvana a fast golem buff, leaving a Wraith there, taking all but one Wraith. That's interesting. So they're doing like some sort of kooky double golem strat with that Gangplank, getting him red, or double jungle strat with the Gangplank. We got Mordekaiser against Anivia mid lane. Mordekaiser's actually pretty well set up to do okay against Anivia. But I think you get more out of an Anivia late game. Please move the camera up, casters. There we go. We've got Kennen against Irelia top. I think Kennen has a pretty serious advantage in this lane. And already Sona and Shyvana are catching out Rammus. As I said, they're doing some early counter jungling. Sona is following the Shyvana around. That's a little over aggressive. I feel like they could collapse on the Shyvana. Definitely, I would like to see SK move their Soraka over here, because otherwise they're going to lose their whole jungle, and I don't think that Soraka is doing much bottom lane with the Sivir. Sivir can free farm on her own. It's not like the Gangplank's really going to be able to stop her once she has 2 levels up. But right now they're just soloing Gangplank bottom against Soraka Sivir. Soraka Sivir is really well set up to get Sivir strong, but not that well set up to stop Gangplank from getting creeps, so I really think they should move that Soraka. I really like what M5 is doing here so far. They've been very aggressive in the jungle. I like that Sona hasn't been bottom. When they see Soraka Sivir, they know they're not going to win that lane and stop Sivir from farming. So what they're doing is they're stopping Rammus from farming. We see an early gank going down up top. They won't get anything, though. I guess that wasn't really a gank so much as just lane pressure. Kennen should probably be whacking that turret a couple times. Just get some free turret damage. Unless they're trying to keep the turret up to make sure that he can farm. Looks like we're going to get a dive here from Shyvana. She misses the E but forces Irelia back. And that's a good first blood on Kennen. I want everyone to note the awesome control that Shyvana had there, where she stepped just out of range of the turret, like exactly out of range of the turret. Most people run much further from turrets than they have to de-aggro them. And yeah, here we go. We're seeing Soraka moving around a bit. I think they should have done that even earlier. Because now Gangplank actually has a level advantage on Sivir when it should definitely be the other way around. And Soraka could be level 3 just by helping top lane or helping the jungle fights. So I think they gave up an advantage bottom lane really unnecessarily. Sivir running quite low on mana is actually going to be in trouble because she can't She can't fight without mana. Yeah, she's having to blow exhaust there just to stay alive and flash. And that's the problem. Once you get behind in XP in a duo lane, and obviously Gangplank has a red buff, you can't leave your duo lane alone, because then the other team's solo, like in a 2v1 lane, the other team's solo will just destroy you. Seeing a counter gank going on up top. They're trying to get some stuff done, but Sona is too strong. There's a bunch of heals, and Kennen's stuns are ridiculous, so they're able to pull out. I like one of the cool things that M5 has done here is they've picked heroes that are very, very hard to gank and kill. I mean, Mordekaiser and Kennen are sort of the definition of hard to gank lanes, which means that their very aggressive strategy is going to be hard to punish. So already we're seeing them with a 1.2k gold advantage, which is great. Shyvana has based for items, interestingly opting for the longsword instead of the Vamp Scepter. Usually when you're going Wriggles you get a Vamp Scepter first. Probably going to die here to this Rammus. Getting the taunt. Yeah, looks like Shyvana's dead. Oh, that ult might save her, but no, good. Really good boomerang from Sivir. Really bad stun from Anivia after the wall. She knew he was going to cut down. I don't know why she missed the stun. There was no reason to miss that there. They just gave up a Gangplank kill because Anivia had sort of sloppy mechanics there. But that kill on the Shyvana will help them a lot. Get them back into it. And the fact is that Shyvana will just not be very useful late game, because she doesn't really initiate. She doesn't really damage. She can sort of spread a bunch of fire around, like you W and then ult and then fire goes everywhere, which is, I guess, like a mini Rumble ultimate, which is pretty good, but it doesn't. I just don't think it does enough damage to justify picking that hero over one that can really carry if you're doing this. Like, I feel like there are other champions that jungle just as fast, but give you more late game. We've got Mordekaiser, yeah, being able to turn and get a bunch of health out of the Rammus, and that's the power of Mordekaiser, of course, is that he can heal up. He does have to flash to dodge that boomerang. But with Gangplank there, things are looking good. Kennen having to ult to deal with the Irelia. I guess Irelia Soraka is a pretty tough lane for the solo Kennen. And I definitely like the way they switched. I just don't think that SK can afford to be just laning. I think they need to be responding to Shyvana's counter jungling more. We did see them collapse over here and get push Shyvana and Mordekaiser back, but Shyvana still got the blue, and Mord sent Rammus home, and they didn't get much out of that. And because Anivia's had to roam bot twice, she's lost a lot of CS to the Mordekaiser. We're seeing her at 38 and Mord at 67, and that's just insane. That's going to be impossible to overcome late game. I mean, we're also seeing Shyvana at 44 CS to Rammus's 22, and as much as I don't think Shyvana is a great champion, if she has twice your farm, it's going to be very difficult to handle. Kennen is going AD Kennen, which I like here. I actually really like that pick because Kennen's really hard to gank and makes a decent AD carry late game. And we're seeing his 51 CS and a kill to Irelia's 41. And Gangplank's actually doing really well at 57 to Sivir's 42, although Sivir has a kill. Gangplank able to teleport in and defend that. Good reactions. They might lose bottom. No, Shyvana's in place. She can get there and stop Sivir from taking bottom if they even care. Looks like they do care. I would like to. So we can see even with Shyvana not there, they're confident that they can 3v3 this, and they're just going to go take that red. With Gangplank having that red, they can just pull out here. SK has been forced to ward their own buffs, which is never a place that you want to be in. Mordekaiser forcing them to fight on his thing, so he tanks for a really long time. And with Gangplank and Sona there, I actually think that they could have pursued that aggressively with Kennen there, because Kennen's pretty strong right now. But they decided to pull back and just give up the Mordekaiser kill. So that actually helps SK a lot. I think M5 should have pursued that fight. SK had used all their spells. We have Gangplank laning mid against the Anivia, trying to keep her from catching up in CS. Obviously, if you leave an Anivia alone for even like a couple minutes, she's gonna just get so much CS because she can clear waves instantly. And see just how insane Kennen's stuns are and his laning skills. That hero is stupid. Kennen's actually one of my least favorite heroes. Had a cool play here where most of SK have gone to heal, so M5 is going to grab a quick dragon with that pink ward. Shyvana is not the fastest dragon hero, but they managed it. I couldn't see if that pink ward was in range for Sona to take down. No, it wasn't. Okay. So there's two pink wards just out of sight of one another. Neither team can quite see the other's pink ward. So we'll see how that goes. Gangplank is back bot with Sona, so they're going to try to zone this Sivir out and stop her from free farming. Although her free farm has more or less caught her up, but not done anything spectacular. We could see a Gangplank ult to save Kennen, but we don't need it, because Kennen can zip away. We're seeing... I can't quite make out the levels that each team is at, because the resolution is not quite so good. But we're even on levels in mid, although Mordekaiser's vastly up in CS. 102 to 65. That lead just keeps getting bigger. And he's very difficult to kill. Once he gets his will, it's going to be even harder, although maybe he's going a Gunblade, I don't know. It's hard to tell what you build on Mordekaiser, because he's just not played very often. M5 taking more of SK's stuff. They don't get caught by that CV. That CV was an M5 CV. There is an exhaust there. I don't think that's going to be enough. Whoa, missed Sona ult. Brutal. The missed Sona ult really is going to hurt them, because they'd have definitely gotten that Anivia kill. As it is, they get the egg, and they're still going to be able to get the kill, because SK is way out of position. Once they saw that, they should all have been there. Where was... What happened? Where was Rammus? I guess Rammus must have just been, like, top lane. So even with the bad Sona ult, they're still able to get the Anivia kill. It does cost them a Gangplank ult, which they'd rather not have spent on that, but SK just not in position to handle this counter jungling at all. I really like what M5 is doing here with like Mordekaiser taking wolves and stuff. It's great. They're using every inch of the map. They're farming their jungle and their opponent's jungle all the time, and you can see how that's working for them in their 3k gold lead. That's 1k of that is the dragon, but the other 2k is just the fact that they're way up on CS and they've been taking their whole jungle over and over again. Mordekaiser did get a will. Kennen got a Wriggles, which is going to enable him to just crush this Irelia. Yep, here we go. An ult from Kennen just takes down Irelia with that flash. I really don't like Irelia getting that attack speed thing there. I think she should have got a Wriggles. I mean, Wit's End is obviously fantastic item on Irelia, but I think that the recurve bow does not give her enough laning presence against the Kennen, especially a 2-0 Kennen with more CS and a Wriggles. 2 Doran Blades. Kennen building obviously a very early game build, and Irelia going straight for her higher tier items is going to result in what you saw right there. Kennen just dominating the Irelia. So the 2 strongest heroes, the 3 strongest heroes on the map are all on M5 right now. Gangplank is really strong, Mordekaiser is really strong, and Kennen is also quite strong. On the other side, Sivir is the only one who's got as much gold as any one of those three. That's a really cute pull where they get the lizard out there. Unfortunately, they're not able to DPS it down fast enough, but that's actually, I need to keep that in mind for my own play, is that you can pull the lizard out around in a circle when counter jungling. Makes it much harder for them to jump on you and kill you all. But as I was saying, it will be much easier, or M5 is looking really strong in this game because only Sivir is even close to as strong as any of their three main heroes. And Sivir needs more gold before she can compete with things like a Kennen or a Mordekaiser. If the game goes really, really late, I expect that SK will have an advantage. But with that Oracle's on the Shyvana and with triple wriggles, they're really looking to stop, to not allow themselves to take deaths, which will cause the game to not go late. They're just going to grind out this advantage. I also really like the triple wriggles that they have there. It means that their warding is quite safe and they will always have high health. Obviously, for a counter jungling play, you really want those wriggles. Sivir in a bad spot, getting caught, taken down. Mordekaiser having to flash out of that turret, but yeah, they're just going to back up. Obviously, they don't want to dive the Rammus any more than they already have. I actually think they stayed under that turret for far too long. No need to take that much damage because they're not going to kill Rammus. Even if they had killed Rammus, they could have gotten too low and then taken down. Anivia also went down. The casters didn't catch that quite, but I assume it was like to the side of that fight. I am really thinking that SK can't win, especially with this next dragon. They can't stop M5 from taking that dragon. And even if they try, Irelia is going to have to leave, but she doesn't have teleport. She's just going to lose top lane. Kennen is out sustaining Irelia because Irelia went for that wit's end fast. Yeah, now she's like backing up to get a wriggles. You can see she bought the longsword there. It's kind of weird. I think really bad item choices. Good wall there. That was a sick wall. Gangplank being forced to flash. If he hadn't had flash up, that could have been really good for them. But since he did, they're going to be in trouble. Really nice Sivir boomerang, hitting all four of them. They're not sure if they want to initiate. Rammus does get the smite there, so good, well done. And they are going to initiate. I don't like this. I don't think they can do that. No, maybe they can. Alright, so they pushed them out, and they got the blue. So that's a small win for SK. But meanwhile, Kennen is just still dominating Irelia. And they lost 2 full waves of farm that whacked into their tower mid. So the gold advantage is just continuing to go in favor of SK, or in favor of M5. SK is pushing out. They're gonna catch Genja out. I don't think they'll kill him because he can just stun them both, and then yeah, he's got a flash. Good Gangplank ult. He actually almost kills Irelia. I think he might have been able to do that because it would have taken one more hit. And there we go. The 4-man gank is able to take it down. And getting Anivia that kill's really important. Look at her items. She desperately needs some kind of gold advantage. I actually think that Kennen should have known that more of them would be coming for him, and just went on the Irelia. I think he could have traded. He did not use heal in that fight. I think if he'd healed and then just tried to kill Irelia, he'd have gotten it and traded himself. Which would have been better, obviously. Kennen going Phantom Dancer as his first serious item after the wriggles. I like that. That's one of the few situations in which I think Phantom Dancer first is good, is when you have a wriggles first and are a Kennen, and don't really rely on right-clicking to do damage. I I assume, I don't know what he's going to get next, but it looks like Merc Treads, which makes sense against a team with as many stuns as SK has. They have Silence, a stun, a taunt, and a stun, as well as a slow, like a whole bunch of slows. Shyvana just has so much more gold than Rammus. She's actually going to be useful. We'll see. I assume she's going Frozen Mallet. That's what most Shyvanas go that I have seen. That Oracles has been fantastic for them, obviously. Rammus is 1-0, though. 1-0-3. And does have an Aegis. That Aegis will help a lot in team fights. But I'm not sure they can team fight very effectively yet. I mean, obviously, M5 is all team fight heroes with Kennen and Gangplank and Mordekaiser and Sona. And anyways, we're about to see that put to the test as this Baron fight goes on. Interestingly, they're sticking on Baron and just Gangplank is just straight up 3v1ing up there. Sona gets a kill over there as Rammus tries to smite down the Baron, which we didn't see because we're busy watching the Gangplank chase. And that's just how strong they are with those. All of those AoE ults just lets Gangplank zone the whole team and just chase them down. And this game just became unwinnable for SK, and I expect a surrender quite soon. I really like what M5 did here with all the counter jungling. I think there were a lot of ways that SK could have dealt with that. But it does, like, people were saying that this match changes how League of Legends is played forever. I don't know if I'd go quite that far. I think it's a really cool strategy, but we've known about counter jungling for a long time. I think SK just didn't deal with counter jungling. I still think the Shyvana pick could have been better as Nunu was banned, but some other good counter jungling jungler. I don't know. Who would I pick here for this kind of strategy? I mean, anyone who ganks better, I feel like. Anyone who with a better level 1 fight. Maybe someone who carries harder, like a Master Yi. Obviously, that's bad because Yi is not a very good hero, but I don't know. Maybe Shyvana's a really good pick. She does kill jungle creeps awfully fast. Maybe they'll pick Shyvana more as the series goes on, and I can form a better opinion. Because currently, my opinion of that hero is that it's not very good, and they just outplayed SK so hard that it didn't matter. I did not see Shyvana do anything that I feel like any other hero couldn't have done just as well or possibly better. Really, just as well. I feel like Shyvana did as well as any hero could have done in these circumstances, because all they needed her to do was kill neutral creeps really fast. But if SK had played better, then I feel like they would have wanted a jungler who brought more to the table early game and mid game, if that makes sense. M5 is just in cleanup mode. Obviously, they're still roaming the jungle. SK seems to have given up, kind of. They just got caught out there, and I guess you have to take a lot of risks when you're down this far. Looks like this is going to be an easy team fight under turret. Oh, actually, Sivir getting a kill in there. They have not taken down Irelia. And that's the problem with Shyvana, actually, is that if they had had a jungler with CC, they'd have gotten both of those kills. If that had been a Nocturne, I don't know, then they could have gotten all those kills. Meanwhile, though, Kennen is split pushing bot, but those 2 kills actually help SK a lot. M5 getting a little greedy and just not having enough CC on their team. They have so little CC, actually. Just Kennen, really. Just Kennen and Sona. And Gangplank slow from his ultimate. We have SK is trying to take some of their own jungle buffs. Shyvana didn't die in that fight, so I think she still has an Oracles, which is going to be great for them, obviously. You see a lot of wards in the river, interestingly. I'd have expected those to be more at the jungle entrances, but there's a ward there, there's a ward there, ward there, there. That's a lot of wards. I mean, obviously these are not all on the same side, but you can see that the teams just have so much vision in this area of the jungle. And those are mostly M5 wards, obviously, because they just have so much control over SK's jungle. It's very difficult for SK to deal with it. They really needed to respond better to the counter jungling early game. Kills are quite even, but M5 has a 10k gold advantage almost. 9k, I guess. This team fight middle is... Irelia is not there, so they could probably fight this. They could initiate with a Gangplank ult. They could initiate with Shyvana, in which case everyone would walk slowly away and Shyvana would stare helplessly while they did so. They could initiate with a flash ult from the Sona, except that her flash is down. As is her ult. Oh no, her ult's up, her flash is down, sorry. Notice that one other thing that's really hurting SK is that they have no CV. I mean, I really do like heal on Soraka. I think it's awesome. But not having a CV is just so brutal. I think that's one of the things that enabled M5 to do so much this game. So much counter jungling. I think, I don't know if this is a strategy that people that they had seen earlier in this tournament, with the Shyvana counter jungling stuff. But definitely if they had, they should have certainly taken a CV against it. I expect that they'll be running CV in the second game. If not, I will wonder what's going on. Although this game is not yet over, actually. SK is going to take a tower here. No, okay, they're very confidently initiating with Gangplank. Who bought Atmas, and then Giant's Belt, 2 health crystals. That's kind of a weird build. I guess one of those is for a Warmogs, and one of them is for a... Shit, this is not a good initiation for SK. They're too clustered. They can't handle the AoE damage from those ultimates, and yeah, that's going to be game. That was a really bad place to fight in that little cluster in the jungle. They could not afford to take AoE to fight an AoE team fight there. They just all wandered in, and that was really quite bad. Interestingly to me, M5 is going for Baron instead of just pushing. I feel like they should take an inhibitor. They definitely could with 3 down. It'll be very difficult for Soraka and Anivia to stop them. I guess Baron is more certain. It just continues their policy of grinding out the gold advantage. But they can't let this game go too much longer. They can certainly get this middle tower, but they won't be able to get much more than that. No real new items on M5. Shyvana is, it looks like, going for that frozen mallet. Soraka's finished her Shirelia's, which is obviously, or Sona's finished her Shirelia's, which is obviously great. Soraka has 3 gold per 5s and cooldown boots, which is good, but the Shirelia's is much more important. It's going to get them into fights much faster. It's one of the few ways they have of actually initiating fights other than Gangplank ult. Or Kennen flashing into the middle of them. Kennen has no real new items. I wonder what he's going to go next, because I suspect he has a ton of gold banked up. Yeah, so he bought a... Yeah, okay, there we go. He buys the eye edge straight up. We see... actually getting a Wit's End before the Frozen Mallet. I like that choice. He needs magic resist on the Shyvana. And with that, Rylai's on the Mordekaiser. and a Giant's Belt on Sona, and finish Warmogs on Gangplank with all those important items finished after that team fight, they're definitely gonna push in here. Right after everyone on your team has finished a major item is a pretty good time to start pushing aggressively. We can see just a Wit's End, really, and a Phage on Irelia. Of course, they change it for the current gold total right after everyone has bought items. I don't know why they would do that. We've got a Bloodthirster on Sivir. We've got and a Wriggle, so lots of lifesteal. Aegis Shirelia's on Rammus, so at least they do have a Shirelia's on their team. Not even a death cap yet on Anivia. Anivia is just so weak right now. That's their major fall down point. Mordekaiser running in with his Rylai's, Shyvana running in, having to back out. They could probably put a bunch of damage on the turret. Okay, good bait. They bait that whole team right into the Sona ult. Beautifully done there. SK really wanted to initiate on that, but instead they're just getting caught and crushed. Gangplank does so much damage and has so much health, and that Rammus Ghost actually tanks the turret for them a little bit. So that's an inhibitor, and probably the game. I think they can. I don't know if they can do doubles here. They're gonna try for it. I think that's a good plan. Because the worst that happens, I think, is one of them gets picked, and then they just and they've gotten like 2 turrets or something. And yeah, so they're taking down this second double turret. Oh, okay, they're backing up. But yeah, probably a good call on backing up. So much damage from Kennen, it's insane. I really like AD Kennen, I think it's ridiculously strong. I think Kennen's ridiculously strong no matter how you build him. Shyvana still has that Oracles, I think. Oh no, she died and lost it much earlier. Irelia jumping on the Sona because she chose to blue pill where there's a ward, but actually this fight's good for SK. They're able to get the Sona, and they'll get the Gangplank too. So that's good. They got Anivia another kill. Picked off 2 guys, got Baron off them, that's nice. Although the Baron's going to wear out shortly anyways. Did they grab any other major items? Another Giant's Belt on the Gangplank. Nothing else really, though. Still no death cap on Anivia. She's really far behind. There's a Zeal on Sivir. Frozen Mallet for Shyvana. So that's actually going to help her a lot, sticking to people. It gives her some way of causing other people to actually ever have to fight her. Which is why everyone gets it. They do pick up a turret here, so that's good. But I think as soon as Gangplank spawns, M5 is just going to go take another inhibitor. I think they could have ended this game much earlier, but I like how carefully they're playing it. Obviously, the gold advantage just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And as long as that's true, they can try to make this game go really, really late. Or, they don't want the game to go so late that everyone has infinite items, but they don't need to end it in a vast hurry either. Interestingly, a Giant's Belt on Kennen as well. Lots of health items. I wonder if he's going Warmogs? Frozen Mallet? Rylai's maybe? I mean, Rylai's is still good even on AD Kennen. Or probably just getting a Giant's Belt because it's very efficient and they want to push in right now. So much damage on that Anivia, who I think will have Egg back for this fight, although I'm not entirely sure. But I expect to see a flash ult from this Sona, because her flash is up anytime now. As soon as they want to initiate, they're just going to go for it under the turret, and the turret won't do much to stop them. Okay, so they're just going to transition bottom, take the outer turret, take the buffs. Pretty good. Should always go for just grabbing buffs and things. Yep, Kennen gets the blue buff. I like that. And they're going to push middle in, and then they're going to... I'm not sure what they'll do. Probably go top. Rammus trying to initiate, but I think they can just back up. Yeah, they do just back up. I feel like they should have taken that fight. I mean, obviously, like, Irelia wasn't even there, and any fight that's not under a turret is going to be great for M5. I don't know why they didn't let Rammus initiate there. Yeah, here we go. Well, notice that Mordekaiser is always using his ult on the Rammus just to keep himself up. It gives him the most health. I really like that play. They pick off Rammus, and here we go. Kennen going to be able to kill Sivir probably if she tries to do that. She realizes this and backs off. Irelia going down, Sivir going down, and that's the game. So this was a sick strategy from M5. I really like what they did there. I think that the counter jungling, like the super heavy counter jungling play, works really well against teams that go heal on their support. And then they just stuck a solo lane bottom after having him jungle a bit, and they made sure that everyone on the team got the jungle. I'm going to back up to just before the end of the game and pause here. And they made sure that everyone on the team got the jungle, so that none of their jungle creeps were ever spawned for more than like 10 seconds at a time. I think that's great. I think the new jungle really lends itself to play like that. I think if I had to say, I mean, I still think Shyvana is a bad pick. I think Shyvana is not the best jungler of all time. But who knows? I mean, she does farm very fast. So if what you're going for is just keeping all the neutral camps clear all the time, that's a reasonable thing. And I guess other junglers who farm really fast are like Yi and Olaf and other terrible heroes. So who knows? Maybe that's a really good pick. I'd like to see more Shyvana from pros, and hopefully we'll see that coming up. So that was Game 1 of the semifinals of IEM Kiev between SK and M5. M5 won one game. These are 3-game sets, and the winner of this set will go on to play TSM in the finals, which you will be seeing as soon as I cast it. I'm going to be going on to cast the next game right now, but unfortunately, you all have to wait for tomorrow. So I will see you then. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe. And GG.